Welcome to another episode of Fight the Burnout. Today we have a special guest, Angel Ribo. He's calling in from Texas. I love Texas. Texas is amazing. We were just talking about it actually just before we started recording.
Amen to that.
Yes,
Indeed.
but Angel is originally from Spain, but he's going to tell us a little bit about his experience with burnout today, how it kind of has helped him create the business that he has now, helping other CEOs. So, Angel, as we like to do, I'm going to let you take it away. Tell us who you
Thank
are,
you.
a little bit about yourself, and a little bit about your experience with burnout as well.
Absolutely. Chris, thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show today. And obviously, thank you everybody who's watching us today. So I would say that my story my stories with burnout have been going like up and down in my life. Up until I was like, or while I was single, I would say that I wouldn't really care about burnout. I really didn't know the meaning of burnout, right? Because I really could go anywhere in the world, as you said very well. I'm originally from Spain. I
Mm.
left Spain in the 90s to start my international career because I had learned so many foreign languages, and I started working with large American corporations. And I started going from this country to this other country. And as you said very well, that's what I do for a living. Is I help both corporate CEOs and established entrepreneurs to bridge the gap globally for expansion and exposure. And my
Mm.
brand is the CEO Confidant because I have helped more than 1,500 CEOs in 33 countries to expand their businesses and to help them accelerate their businesses. So, as I was reflecting about the burnout concept, right? Number one, I would say that the higher the responsibility you feel with yourself and with your life and with the people around you, I think the higher is the sense and the likelihood that you're going to feel that burnout, right?
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that I left corporate America in 2016. And I realized a few months later that I really didn't know the meaning of burnout still. Because it started to hit hard when you realize that you were already in corporate America before and everything was like structured, and you would like it more or less, you would be more or less happy, but you had a structure, right? And you would follow the structure, and if you did a good job, you would still have some fun, and you would have a nice salary, nice wages coming in every single month, no matter what, and you would have all those retirement, plans along with them. So everything was in place. But when and that's my personal story, right? When I
Mm.
became my own boss, and obviously I had a family with 3 kids and a wife, and my wife wasn't working, right? Then I had to put everything in place to build a system to generate wealth for my family and myself that was there, even if
Yeah.
I wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
And it's so funny how, obviously, I mean, I really felt a burnout because I realized that I made a lot of mistakes. And let me share with you what the mistakes were that put me on that very dark spot.
Yeah. Let's
Number
hear 'em.
one, but number one, I thought that I didn't need help. I didn't need help, right? So
Mm.
I thought, no, I've been so successful in my career, so successful, helping so many successful people. I can do this all by myself. And that was a big mistake because definitely I should have help. I should have asked for help much faster, much sooner, right? Number two, I should have really picked my first, let's say the first people I asked for help. I should have done a much better due diligence. I think that we really lack in the way that we look for our let's say journey partners, the ones that are going to help us ramp up our business. And when we start our own business, even if we've been successful in a corporate career, it's completely different to having to set up your own systems and develop your own systems so that you can start generating value for others,
Mm.
with what you know to do. It's a completely different story.
Yep.
And I really didn't pick the ones. And I can tell you, I was burned literally with tens of thousands of dollars, picking
Mm.
the wrong people, the wrong marketing people, the wrong sales people, the wrong legal people, the wrong CPA advisors, you name it. And I mean, I'm telling you now, and both you and I we're laughing, right? But it was painful,
It's not so funny when you're going through it.
no, 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 exactly. And there's lots of things that happen. And but the thing is, how did I eventually get out of that position
Yeah.
in which I felt in total despair, in total like desperation, I would say? So number one is that I really realized that I was myself. I was really expecting things to be much worse than what they were supposed to be. So I don't know if that has ever happened to you, Chris, but
Yep.
I have this feeling that I can cope with anything. I can do anything. I can be successful anywhere. You yourself, you are originally from another country, and you are blessed with being in New Zealand right now, at least for the time being.
Yep.
But we feel invincible, right? I mean,
Yep.
nothing can defeat us. But that's a double blade sword, right? Because
You get very cocky as well at the same
exactly,
time.
exactly. So you understand me very well, right?
Yep.
So I feel so like unstoppable that at the same time I realize this unstoppability, this self-esteem, this super high self-esteem of mine is also a blind spot for me, because I should be, as soon as I find this value that I can consistently, provide my clients and my collaborators, as soon as my partners, I have to build a system that allows me to keep on adding more value, adding more value, adding more value, adding more value without burning myself out.
Yep.
And let me tell you, when we got to 2020, month of March, and some news started. I mean, I don't watch the news, by the way. I've been like 5-6 years without watching the news, but obviously it was impossible not to hear that something was happening in the east side of the world in March last year. So I said, okay, so I have no option, right? So regardless of my unstoppability, I have no option. I have to do something. So it's funny how I started to build my own team only in 2020.
Oh,
and
wow.
I went from zero, literally from zero, like just a few people helping me on some areas, but everybody was external, like nobody on my team, to having today 11 people on my team. And people that are doing some graphical work, some graphic design, video editing, copywriting, you name it. Everything that helps me in the marketing and in the sales side, for that whatever I personally deliver is only like a very high value that service that my clients need. But isn't it crazy? I could have hired these people in 2016 when I left corporate America, when I had this wonderful, beautiful 401k.
You had all this money that you could have paid other people with.
You follow me, right?
Yeah.
You follow me without having to experience that. And it's so true that for some reason it must be this survival, like reptilian part of our brain that makes us always believe that something worse is going to happen, which when in reality something is always taking care of us, always, all the time, all the time.
We always, especially as I think of entrepreneurs as like they're like a hunter-gatherer. They're always finding a way to put the food on the table, to make it happen. We all do it, and no matter whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for somebody else, we're always doing it. Different people have different levels that they'll actually push themselves out to. And as we talked about, you get that double-edged sword of we become so confident. And that's where you look at entrepreneurs and they will do crazy things, but then there's other things that they do and they're like, oh wait, I shouldn't have probably done that. But then at the same time they make it work and they shift it and they get it to help. But it's interesting that you, for 4 years, you did things pretty much on your own, and then 2020 came around and you're like, I need help. What was it that actually caused that? I know we had the some people call it the spicy flu, or the craziness as others call it, or whatever you want to call it. But what was it? I know that it was around that time. But what was it that actually made you go, hey, wait a second, I need to get proper help and get these people actually to help me do this so that I stop burning out?
Because I realized that most of the things I needed weren't that complicated. I could actually teach people to do things that were simple. As far as I found the people with the right attitude, I could teach them how to do something. I was open to make mistakes. I was totally open to have my entire team making mistakes until they found until they reached a place in which we were delivering proper value. And also there was something else, which is maybe it comes from, I mean, I'm not that of a religious, believer. I used to be, I mean, in Spain, almost everybody is a Catholic.
Yep.
And I think, I mean, we're gonna talk, I mean, I stopped practicing for whatever reason, Catholicism a long time ago, but I really felt like I had to help people.
Yeah.
To be honest, I really thought, oh my God, there's so many people right now that are unemployed, so many people that need the money, so many people. So I could help so many people in so many ways right now if I started investing and teaching, training, onboarding, and paying them. So I think it's the best time for me to start really helping myself, helping a lot of people, and also transferring my knowledge and my experience, right, to all these people that I know for sure that they will be like a real strong foundation of my team moving forward. And this is exactly what has happened. They have become really loyal employees of mine, really, really loyal employees. And they have learned, if you compare the level of knowledge and experience they had 1.5 years ago to today, oh my God, they're completely different people.
Yeah.
And I am huge on onboarding. I mean, I believe that you never stop onboarding your employees, ever. You never stop. You're always there with them, for them, and you have to be open, and you have to be flexible, and you have to be patient. And, when they make mistakes, it's okay. I always tell them the same thing. I always tell them, I always ask them the same question when I'm interviewing them. Hey, I'm gonna hire you. I'm gonna hire you. And we're going to give you a license. And it's not the 000 license as James Bond. I'm going to give you another license. The license I'm going to give you is the license to make mistakes. I give you the license to make mistakes since today and while you are working in the company. All the time, everybody has this license. So they know that they can make mistakes. So regardless of what they do, even if they're exposed to thousands of people, because we have a lot of traction, let's say on social media, on LinkedIn mainly, even if you make a mistake, even if you misspell something, even if you post in the wrong place, in the wrong time, even if you post the wrong post in the wrong day, blah, blah, blah. Even if we were paid to post a specific thing on a specific day and we fail, it's okay, because it's going to be probably the last time that we fail. So, being comfortable with uncomfortability.
I think that's awesome. Did you find that by being able to actually do that and telling people, hey, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. I want you to make mistakes. Here's a license to make those mistakes. Did you find that people actually went above and beyond and actually would do more to actually see if something else would work, because they knew that if they made a mistake, it was okay, because they did it, obviously with the best intentions most of the time?
Yes, exactly. And they realize that, we, even if I'm not that religious, we have a weekly meeting, right? The entire team, and we meet on Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on the week and the assignment, the engagement with the customers. But we always pray, or we always meditate, and we always mention what were the wins of last week and what were the defeats, what were the things that we made a mistake. And doing that publicly and with everybody involved, we all become much more humble, much more human, much more compassionate, much more flexible. But it's a matter of culture. They already know who I am. They already know what I stand up for. And, some of them go to church every single Sunday, and they have a very strong faith. And I have a very strong faith on my beliefs, right? But again, coming from many different avenues of beliefs, we all have been able to build this culture in which we are compassionate with ourselves. And how can you possibly build a team like that everybody is compassionate about everybody else's mistakes? And even if we make mistakes, hey, let's do it better. What was the wrong thing? What made us make it? Maybe I overlooked that, or I overlooked that, and very often, as you know, as leaders also, that happens to us as well. We tend to think that our thoughts become the instructions and directions that we give our team. Isn't it crazy? Are we not, sorry for my French, are we not screwed, Chris? How many times has it happened to you that you thought that you had already said something or told
but you really only thought it?
Exactly.
Because you have so many different things going on.
Exactly.
It's so crazy.
That's
It's so crazy.
entrepreneur.
But I want to just stop for just a second and just praise, because My background is law enforcement. I was a cop here for 7 years. That's how I became extremely burned out. I was a cop for 7 years, did everything all the way up to VIP protection, protecting the head of state. I worked alongside Secret Service when they came over here 1 year. Um, so, you know, the one thing that I find now that I'm an entrepreneur, in a way of my own, I'm also now back as a salaried employee for somebody doing financial advising now as well. So got two hats on all the time. Is that if you don't have a culture where you're truthful, you're honest, where you can make mistakes, where people come together and they go, hey, what did you do well, what didn't we, what's the things that we can work on, how can we do better, but not with a thing of you must do better, a thing of okay, let's work together. You create this culture that is empowering, and people go out and they do amazing things even if they screw up. And so by being a leader of that, or being in a leadership role, or just taking leadership, you end up going, and you have to also be that same thing. Say, hey, I screwed up. I mean, I can't even count how many times a day I say, yep, I screwed up on that one. Yep, I get that one. That was so bad. But it's awesome to see from coming from you how it has happened in just 18 months for you, and the team that you've created just by being brutally honest. I always tell people, be brutally honest. If you screwed up, say you screwed up, and then figure out how you can do better the next time. So I just wanted to praise that. That is amazing. I am curious. How did you get the right people in the beginning?
It's just a matter of really. It's just a matter of something that I did really smart, and it wasn't I just was open enough to listen, right? It wasn't even because of myself. So someone proposed me or suggested me to do something, to look for someone that could be a good like future team leader, right?
Yeah.
And I said, okay. I always hire for attitude, always. I like attitude. I don't care about experience. I don't care about achievements. I don't care about nothing else. Attitude. That's why, and to your point, which you just mentioned, that's why it's so important to set the right expectations. Okay, just set expectations, but you set expectations with your employees, but they have to set expectations with you as well. So I have to be setting expectations with my employees, so they know exactly what I am expecting, but also I want them to tell me what to expect from them, right? So something that I did is that I was able to start, instead of starting with someone very low level, I started with someone that had already had some experience in a completely different, field, totally different field, but someone that has had already some experience. And I told that person, I would like you to bring as many people to the team as possible. The ones that you think are going to enjoy it the most and are going to need it the most. And literally, she brought literally like 5, 6, 7 of my 11 members of the team. So she did the due diligence. She already knew personally these people, and she of course, she has a strong credibility among them.
Yeah.
So I was able to very effectively to bring someone on board that would help me to bring more people on board.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so that was for me the number one secret. So obviously, in order to be able to do that, you have to look for, someone that has some sort of influence or visibility, someone that is a leader of an organization, of an association, or has a strong presence in the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you can do that. But that was awesome, because I remember when I was in corporate America, and obviously when I was in corporate America, I was hiring like very high level people, and with several hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, blah blah blah. But it was much more difficult. It was much more difficult to bring people like that. And I hired a lot of people, successfully, but also I made a lot of mistakes. But if I had to go back to my corporate America times, I would always hire the same way. I would always hire the people that I think that their attitude is a great attitude, and they complement me, and that's something else. They complement me. So if I'm not very well organized, I would like someone that is much better organizer than me. If I try to forget things, someone that can remind me of things. If I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I have at least a strong foundation on that person that I am hiring like to start with. And then, the rest can be, expanded as a ripple effect. But that's really important. And I think that we make a lot of mistakes hiring because we are looking for expertise more than ability or attitude. If someone has the right attitude and is really willing to learn, that's it. I always ask very weird questions. I mean, I really ask people very weird questions. I ask them for the hobbies. I would like to pay you to do your hobby better with us. And they say, what?
Yeah.
Is this guy crazy? Because there's always a gray area, Chris. There's always a gray area between what someone really likes to do, like in their personal time, and what they enjoy to do the most at work.
Yes,
exactly.
They blend together. They
exactly.
fully blend together.
But we are so screwed. Again, we always, for some reason, well, I know the reason. If you ask me, I will tell you later. But for some reason, we tend to think this is work and this is my life.
We compartmentalize things when we shouldn't. We should blur them together so that they are enjoyable, so that they actually light us up. And we'll get into that a little bit here in a little bit, because I'm very passionate about the why question, why people do what they do. And I have a very strong belief and research on it. But no, I love that. And if we bring all of this back, some of that was for me personally, because I want to know from people. That's why I interview people, want to know things. But if we take this burnout wise, this is going to reduce you from you burning out, because you can rely on other people. And by hiring the right people. Now, when we say hiring the right people, yes, we were talking about corporate, your business. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to start your own business up. This also goes for friends. Because we hire our friends. If you have a negative person that does not compliment you, does not have a good attitude, does not, influence you to be around better people, you shouldn't have them around you, because they're just going to drain you down. They're going to drag you down, and they're going to burn you out as well in your personal life. So I wanted to bring that and relate it to people that don't want to run their own business or aren't even thinking about that. Maybe it sparked up some people listening. But it's also in our personal lives, because we have to be as a mentor, a guy that I love so much. He says, we have to be the gatekeeper of our own mind.
Yeah.
And that is also by the people that we surround ourselves with. We're the average of the 5 to 7 people, 8 people that we, depending on who you're talking to, that we surround ourselves with. So surround yourself with those same people. Hire the people that you want to hang out with.
And let me tell you, obviously, I mean, I as superhuman as I am, right? I still get up in the morning, and there are days, I don't know if that happens to you. There are days I don't want to get up.
Oh, yes, all the time. There are days that I really don't want to do anything today.
No, exactly. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do it. I literally don't want to do it. So this still happens to me. Yeah. And most of those days is because I really feel like, no, because this might happen, and then this other thing might happen, and then this other thing. No. I'd rather listen about this terrible thought. I'd rather have the universe take care of this.
Yes.
While I'm in bed. Someone will take care of this. While I'm in bed. Someone. And again, this is like ourselves going down the that path of denial.
Yeah.
And that's why when I was preparing for this conversation today, what do I do when I feel myself like super anxious? And
what do you do?
In the morning, always. This is always in the morning when I'm about to get up. Always when I wake up. That's always at that point in the day. Yeah. Some days, obviously not every day. Some days that happens. So I always try to first calm down. How do I calm down? Breathing. Always it's the same thing. It's breathing. It's breathing and focusing on how many times I breathe in and I breathe out. It's always the same way. It's always the same way. Then I have some affirmations that I have been able to memorize. Yeah. And, I just use those affirmations. And if you don't know any affirmation, just say 2 words, just those 2 words, and just feel them while you say them. and you have to say them, you have to verbalize them.
Yep.
Okay, your wife, your fiance, your partner, whoever is going to say you're crazy. It doesn't matter. Just
If you are, it's a good thing.
just 2 words. These 2 words. I am. That's it. Don't say anything else if you don't want to. I am. I'm having chills right now as I'm telling you.
Oh, I did the same thing. It is such a truth.
I am. Exactly. I am. I'm having chills right now. I am. Repeat that. And you're going to, I mean, it sounds crazy the first time you think about it or you do it. But if you do that, you will realize that your state, as Tony Robbins says, your state is going to shift.
Tony's the man. He's like that. You know, obviously the gatekeeper of your mind. That's all Tony. But it is. I am the affirmations. You know, I'm getting chills now as well. I am creates what you want to do. It creates who you are because you are. It is that simple. So you're breathing. Your affirmations. I am, and then you get up.
And then I get up, and then let me tell you, for the last 7 years, I'm showering with cold water only, regardless of what I am. Regardless.
Yep.
Regardless of what I am, cold water. So I can be in Alberta, in Calgary. I can be in Calgary in the middle of the winter. And guess what? I am the only crazy in the entire hotel having cold showers. Like it must be what? 33 degrees, the water, 34 degrees. It doesn't matter.
Do you find yourself in places like I was in Vegas at Business Mastery one year, and I'm there and I'm like, the water's not cold enough.
Yes.
You find yourself saying that when you go and you have a cold shower, you're like, this water is not cold enough, and it's all the way. I want it colder.
Because the hotels have these, super balanced, water systems. So the air conditioning, they have these heat exchangers. That's the name. They have heat exchangers, right? And then every water, right? Every water in the system, every heating system and every cooling system is connected. So you don't have cold water any longer.
Yeah, but where I'm getting with that is you recognize it. You're like, hey, I need something. I did my wife and I earlier in the year went away to a kind of a bit off the grid little place, and there was a stream that ran through the property and that. And it was middle of winter, and the stream probably would have been about, maybe about 45 degrees, maybe 50 degrees. Mm-hmm. I think it was about 40, 45 degrees. And I hopped in it, and I sat in it for 12 minutes. And my wife's like, are you going to get out anytime? I was like, no, this is amazing.
Exactly.
And until you've done it and you've experienced it, I'm still to get my wife to jump into the water with me. But it's all about, this is one of the key things, like you said, the cold shower. And I've gotten just so excited about it. That's why we've kind of gone on about it a little bit. But
of course,
once you can get that mind in to control you, like you can actually control yourself, you can overcome anything, and you realize it. You realize that the burnout is just a state of mind. It is just because there's certain things that haven't gone the way that you want them to. And you're working yourself too much because you're not taking time for yourself. You're not sitting and chilling in you. You're not relaxing in your state. When you get into cold water or even underneath a cold shower, you have to be 100% present. Otherwise, it is pins and needles, it sucks, and you'll hate it. But you have to get in that state. And by doing the breathing, like Angel said, by doing the affirmations, it starts to get you into that state. Then you get into the shower and you keep doing those, and it literally just grounds you.
I'm going to throw, and this is not prepared.
Yeah.
And Chris might not like it, but I'm going to throw a curved ball. Now we are in baseball season here in the US. I'm going to throw a curved ball to you. Okay, Chris?
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why most of the people think that we are insane and, we should be locked up somewhere, the ones that we do, like the cold shower thing, is because they think or they believe that you're gonna die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
But I can say the same thing about so many things in life. It's about fasting. It's the same way. We, for instance, we have 3 kids, and I have discussions, sometimes even arguments with my wife, because nothing happens when the kids don't eat anything. Nothing happens. Their growth hormone will not stop, from being segregated. Yeah. The human being is ready to be in fast mode for long periods of time, and still human bodies will still growing. And I would like to bind this or to tie this with what's happening in the world, right?
Yes.
So how much fear, and obviously Chris is not going to say it, but obviously after the short introduction he made of himself, he's probably one of the best informed people in the world right now. You are, because of what you have done in your life, right?
Yeah.
You are definitely, right? Say it or not, it's the truth. It's a universal truth.
Yeah.
Chris is very well informed. What if, let me throw this at you because I want to help everybody that might feel some fear because of their family, because of their health, because of their business, uncertainty, blah, blah, blah. What if I told you that the outcome of this global insanity is going to be totally positive?
Yeah.
Whatever's going to come out of this happening in the world today is going to be positive.
Yep.
It's going to be positive. Guaranteed. I'm having chills as well. Again,
Yep.
It's going to be the outcome of this entire insanity and all these things that are happening in the world right now is going to be positive. So ask yourself, please, when you wake up in the morning, because that might be also a factor. That might be causing burnout to a lot of people today. Every time in the morning that you feel this burnout, you wake up because of everything that's happening in the world right now, everything that you see in the news, everything that your friends are telling you, your relatives are telling you. Think about this way. If I knew 100% certain, if I was 100% certain that this is going to end up well, what would I do differently today? Ask this question, please. Ask this question, because don't give your power away so easily. Keep your power with you. If you knew with 100% certainty, as I do, as Chris does as well, that this is going to end up well, and this all craziness in the world is just, we see the darkness because there's more light, period. It's so simple.
It's very simple.
We use 5 flashlights at night to see what is in the darkness. That's exactly what's happening right now. We see so much darkness because there's more light. Guys, this is going to end up well. Think every single day, what should I be doing differently? If I know that this is going to be ending up well, what should I be doing? Don't be making decisions based on fear alone.
No. You're so right, and it's so true. We do this in all areas of our lives. Whether you want to take the craziness that's going around worldwide right now, you want to take your business, you want to take your family, you want to take your kids. You want to take literally just yourself and the state that you're feeling in right now. You're feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling any of it. If you knew that in 6, 12, 18 months, 5 years, 10 years, everything is going to work out how it's going to work out and it's going to be perfect, because that's how it's supposed to turn out, what would you do today? I love that. Exactly. It is such a pivotal question. What would I do today if I knew everything was going to work out?
Because, even when we set up our goals, we always put this split, right? We are here, we want to go to those goals. This separation is like the carrot, right? It's the other way around. Why don't we reverse engineer everything? Okay, so we already have achieved those goals. What should we be doing if we already knew that those goals have been achieved? So
it's like when people and colleagues that I work with and that go, if I won lotto tomorrow, I would quit my job tomorrow. I'm like, then why are you still doing your job?
Yeah.
Act as if you already did. What would you be doing? What would you want to be doing? And then go do it. So because I know we're going to run out of time, I want to jump to the next question, but thanks so much, Angel, for that. That is deep. We have had some deep conversation today, and I absolutely love it. I'd love to do actually even a second interview possibly, and we can dig deeper into some of this stuff. But I'm a why guy. I like to ask people's whys. My why is I want to create less pain in myself and others. You sound like you've done a lot of Tony stuff. It relates also to my my ultimate question. My ultimate question is, how do I create less pain in myself and others in this, how do I create the best version of ourselves in this moment? And so they line up, but my why, what I've realized is by going through some levels and asking myself over and over again why it's so important, and actually being true to myself and going back to my past, going back to my childhood and recognizing the pain that I had pain back then from my dad going to chiropractic school during the week and then coming back on the weekends, and all the seeing people fight, seeing people bullied over the year has created this why that is, I want to create less pain. That's why I started Fight the Burnout, so that I could give all the information to people.
Awesome.
What would you say your why is, Angel?
While I was making my, let's say, surfing through my corporate career, I always realized, I always saw that regardless of the promotions, regardless of the positions, regardless of the money, the most important and fulfilling thing for me was to help everybody around me. Every single time that a business partner, a peer, a colleague, a reseller, a technology partner, they would be happy with my contribution into their lives and to their businesses, I would be extremely happy. At the same time that I was doing that, because I moved from Europe to Latin America and I lived there for 10 years, and I actually worked there for 15 years, 5 years working from Texas, I realized that there was so much poverty. So at one day, literally, I woke up the 21st of March in 2015, I literally woke up one day and I had this incredible experience. I cannot describe it in any other way. It was a spiritual experience. And it was very clear that I had to use my knowledge, my connections, my partnerships, my CEOs to help the underprivileged kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using their local resources. I literally had an epiphany. It was like a crazy experience in which I went to the shower and I started crying and I saw those images that every single, I had been able to gain this level of credibility and visibility just to be the connector of the unconnected. Just to be the connector of the unconnected. And who are the disconnected? In Latin America alone, because I speak Spanish, there are 81 million kids that live in poverty. In Latin America alone, 81 million kids. And I started in 2017, after creating my own consulting business, I started our nonprofit, which is called a foundation. It's called Wisdom for Kids. And that's what we do. So if you want to know my why, for some reason, for my entire life, I was gaining that credibility and visibility and, an impact in the world to be able to connect the unconnected in the world, which are those 81 million just in Latin America alone, 81 million kids that will never have a chance to do anything else, anything better in their lives than perpetuating that poverty in the areas in which they live.
That's pretty incredible. Now, I also have a belief that it all stems from experiences when we're kids. As Tony talks about, as many people, whoever you listen to around the world, the big motivational guys in that talk about, everything we are the product of pre-7, pretty much. And so I've related this to it. Where do you believe that you're wanting to connect the unconnected? And I've picked up out of that, because I do a lot of coaching on this, that it's all about the contribution, being able to contribute to others to connect the unconnected. Where do you believe that stems from in your childhood?
I'm not saying this to boast about me, but I've been in 130 plus podcast interviews this year. Never ever nobody asked me this question. And you just made me think. And when I was a kid, I was so shy. I was so shy, like so shy. Nobody will know who I was. Nobody would notice me. When I would go with my parents to places, I would be the kid sitting on one chair that would not move from that chair, like for the entire while we were there with visiting relatives or friends or whoever. So I had to wait until I went to college. So I completely cut the ties with my ancestors, let's say, that I started to be myself, and I started to be a member of an international association, and then the president of the international association for that in the college I studied. So it really was for me being a shy person and seeing the world from a shy kid perspective, that I realized how much more I could have done if I had not been that person, right? So very often, some people ask me, what would you change in your entire life? Right? The easy answer is I would not change anything because I wouldn't be the same person. But in reality, if I had to regret something, I always say the same thing. If I had to regret something, is taking risks sooner in my life. I would have loved to take risks when I was in high school. I would have loved to take risks when I was even in middle school. The more risks, again, that's another concept that we are all screwed up with, but I would have loved to take risks. And that's why, I always use as a mantra, take imperfect action now. Take imperfect action now. For every single business I work with, every single business owner or CEO, take imperfect action now and see what it takes you. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you have to lose?
No, that's incredible. You gave me goosebumps, man, while you're talking. That shy kid has caused you to want to connect more people together I'm going
Yeah.
to go out on a limb here. You didn't feel connected when you were a kid, when you were shy.
No, really. I mean, I was successful. Like in standard terms, right? I was all
Yeah.
A pluses. I mean,
Yeah.
A pluses, and I was learning English and French. And I remember going to, oh yes, that summer was terrible. I mean, I went to the UK to learn English for one summer. It's very common in Spain. If you want to
Yeah.
really learn English, you go for a summer to the UK. And guess what? I stayed in a family with 3 kids. That's okay. And my roommate was a Swedish guy. That was okay. But guess what? I said, I really want to learn English. So I don't want to mix myself with the rest of the Spanish population that came to this school. The only friends of my roommate were Swedish girls. Oh my God.
I know.
What happens when the most shy Spaniard in the world goes for a summer and the only way that he can hang out with someone is 3 beautiful, gorgeous, exuberant, super, confident on themselves, Swedish girls. I mean, do you see?
Yeah.
I mean, I felt so small, like so small, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to interact with this gorgeous, and right now I think about it and I say, wow, Angel, why were you so stupid? But I wasn't stupid. I was just immature. I wasn't used to. I was going to in Spain. I always from K to 12. I was always going to male only school.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I always felt this massive gap between myself and the rest of the world. You know what I mean? And if you add into that poverty, which thank God I never had to go through. Oh my God.
But for you, as soon as you saw it, it was the next level. It was the next level of everything that happened in your childhood, which then created who you are today. And that's why you like to connect the unconnected.
Totally.
That's awesome. There you go. We got it. It's amazing, and you can see it. And I just want to reiterate this to people: is if you're struggling with finding that why, because once you find that why, what you do comes so much easier. Totally. You can find that what so much easier once you know why you're driven, why you love what you love, and why you have done everything that you've done. And nobody else can tell you that that's right or wrong because it's just who you are. So,
and by the way, I still remember the face of these 3 Swedish girls.
I bet you do.
Not their names, but their faces.
Oh
my God.
It locks in there. Those things.
I was 13 years old only. 13 years old only.
Yeah.
I was 13 years old only. Oh my God.
Yeah. So Angel, as we wrap up, how do people get in touch with you if they want to reach out? They want to maybe get your services, or they just want to, just
to talk. Yeah.
Just to talk.
Absolutely. So the easiest way is to send me an email. Thanks God, I have a team to help me also with my emails. The email address is very easy. It's Angel, ANGEL, at angelribo.com. Ribo is my last name, R-I-B as in boy O. So it will be ANGEL at ANGEL, RIB as in boy O.com. And obviously I'm very active on social media. You will find me literally everywhere, even on TikTok, even on TikTok.
With your Swedish girls?
No, unfortunately not. But if you go to LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. That's the main place where I conduct business is LinkedIn. I'm very, very present there, and I interact with hundreds of people every single week, literally having conversations. So go to LinkedIn, text me, message me, and it will be a pleasure to have a completely, open conversation as this one we have had with you, Chris, and just to see what happens.
That's awesome. So we'll put those links in the description down below. So if you're listening or watching this, just hop down there. You'll be able to find them all down there. We'll put the website. We'll put your LinkedIn link and also your email. And I just want to thank you again, Angel, for being here, for sharing with us, for telling us a bunch of your secrets as such as well. It takes a real person to be able to actually open up and talk about the mistakes that they've had, because we learn from those mistakes. Any last words, Angel, before I kind of wrap up?
Yes, to reiterate what I said before, please think every single time you are in doubt, that you're feeling down, that you are anxious, that you feel this burnout. Have the certainty that everything that's happening in the world today, the world that's coming up, is going to be amazing for all of us. It's going to be amazing. And ask yourself the question, knowing this, what am I going to do different today? That's it, really. I would like to leave everybody with that question because I think it's a powerful question.
Nah, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Angel. And thank you for reminding everybody of that. Remember, everybody, as I always say on these episodes, don't try and take everything that we talked about today in. Just grab one thing, whatever's popping into your head right now, take it and run with it as if everything is going to work out. And if you need assistance with anything, reach out to Angel or reach out to us here at Fight the Burnout. It's Fight the Burnout at Gmail, Fight the Burnout Podcast at gmail.com. That's Fight the Burnout Podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email. We'll happily help you out find your why. We'll help you out so that you can then find what you love to do, and then it's not work every day. And then you can also, hire the right people and do all the fun things and be that person that you want to be. But there's a lot of key things in this episode, so go back, listen to it again, and really make sure that you share it around as well, because I know that lots of people will get a lot from this conversation. Again, Angel, thank you very much for being here with us. And everybody, like, subscribe, flick us an email, let us know what you want to hear next. And if you want to hear more from Angel, I'm quite interested in having another conversation with him, so you might see him in the future back here on Fight the Burnout. But till next time, remember, our motto has always been from me is train hard, test easy. Because when we train our mind and our body hard, when the tests come and we get hit by things, it is that much easier than if we hadn't been training so hard. Love you all. Thank you very much.